All right, so last week of classes officially is 15. That's what we're going to talk about today. Week 16 is next week, and next week is the final exam. If you need me, I'm going to be in the office hour during the normal class time, since you have a take-home final, right? That's the deal. And I'm also going to be in my office hours during the normal time if you need me. In the last minute of the last week. So week 15 is again extra credit, and a couple of things are in it. One is connecting to a web page, reading the information from that web page, and writing it to a file. What we're going to do is basically we're going to scrape for emails. We're going to connect to Gavilan's web page, old directory. We're going to scrape it for all the emails. We're going to write all those emails in a file, then we're going to search the file and tell me where a specific email is found. So that's read a web page, right? That's what that's going to do. And in order to do that, what we're going to need to do is we're going to have to use regex. Regex stands for regular expressions, and it is a way for you to search through text for certain patterns, right? So that's what we're going to use to search for patterns of emails. Like if there's the @ symbol, there should be certain number of letters and dots after it, right? And before it, and that's the pattern that we can search using regex. Normally you wouldn't really use regex to do this kind of stuff. There's libraries that are in the Python language, like Beautiful Soup, that will allow you to really go through a web page and scrape for information easier. But I think this is another fun way to do it, so we're going to use regex. The other one is the localization. Localization is a way for you to have your program that you have written in one language run in a different language. All right, so you don't want to, if you have Microsoft Windows and you want that thing to run in Spanish, you're not going to rewrite the whole program, right? You want to translate it somehow, right? And that's what this localization example is going to teach you how to do. So let's have a look at some of these links that I have posted in there. One is connect to a web page, read and search a web page. Okay, so there's an example of code that I have in there that you're going to have to type up. All right, so I'll just go over it and tell you what's what. So on the top one is we're importing this request, and we're going to use the request to open the URL. In other words, we're going to connect to this URL, right? So this is the location where certain file is located, right? So what we're going to go and do is we're going to open this URL, right? And what that is actually going to do is it's going to open an HTML file called index.html. And then we're going to read it. So we're going to read all the HTML in my files. So what does that mean? If I go in there and I do, let me actually see what this was. Start with yes, my files. Alright, so this is the actual web page, and what this little script that I have in there, what it will do is it will connect to this web page. We'll look at this HTML, right? And then all this stuff is going to be one big string pretty much. Okay, so we're going to copy all that information, and then that gets stored into the HTML variable, right? So the HTML is going to be that whole thing as a string. Okay. Then what we're going to do is the next piece here, list of exes is equal to re.findAll, right? So re is the regex, right? So regex is what we're going to use to search through the text, that text that we just saw, right? We're going to search through this, and what we're going to tell it to do is to go and find all these that end with an exe, right? So there's a bunch of file names in there that I have listed. Each of them ends with an exe, and there's a bunch of crap underneath the .exe. what this is going to do is it will go in there, right? And what I'm telling it is, see the .exe, right? W plus tells it basically look for any word chars, and I think a word char is anything that is a number or letter, right? If you have like a dash or some other symbol, that's not a word char. Okay, so that's basically, I'm telling you, these are the valid file names. Anything that ends with an exe and it has a bunch of letters or numbers before it. That's what the W plus means, right? The R tells it read this in raw format. It allows the find all function to search this text that you see in quotes here. So see, I have single quotes, right? And then inside the single quotes, I have /W or backward slash. Is that double forward slash or backward slash? Help me out. What do you call it? Backward slash. Backward slash. Okay, /W, right? So normally, remember how the backslash is a escape symbol. If you have a /N, it does a new line. If you have a /T, it does a tab. If you have a backslash, usually tells it, the next thing is going to be special or whatever. So the R tells it to not treat it that way. Okay, so that's what we're doing in here. Bottom line is we're just searching through the text for anything that ends with an exe and there's a bunch of words or numbers before it. That is going to return a list, right? So we're going to get all these things. We're going to put in a list. So that means that every one of these here is going to be a separate string on the list of strings, and then we can show it, right? That's it. So if you type this up, that's what this is going to do, and it's an example of how you can connect to a web page, read the information in the web page, scrape the information from a web page. So that's the example for if you wanted to go and collect all the file names that have an exe in them. Okay, now. Let's go back. So now the other one is write content to file, search file. Okay, I'm not sure if I want to do this. Oh, and I have some video in there, regex examples. I don't know if it's my own video. It probably is. Probably. Oh, so I have a video for regex examples, and there's a file in it also. So I think I'll probably go over that stuff in the video. Is it my own stuff? Oh no. Okay, so what this guy is, this is where I got this information from. It's this guy that you see in the video. He works for Google, so he also teaches in Stanford. All right. So in this like 40-minute video, he goes over this material that you see here. Right. So I've there you go. There's the whole video in that little picture. Okay. Saved you 41 minutes. So what you can learn in this video, right, and I put the source link on top, right, that's the guy, is how to use regex for some of these things that I just showed you, right, and a little more detailed explanation of what's what. So I'll jump to kind of like the relevant thing that is important for what you're going to do, right? So first of all, just a quick thing here is what are the different meanings, right? So /W means a word char, and I already told you that it is anything uppercase, lowercase letters, numbers, and the underscore. So that's a word char. Okay, /D is a digit, /S is a white space, and then the plus allows you to do any number of these things. So when I say /W, that means we can have many word chars. Okay. Similarly, if I do /S, like any number of non-spaces, etc., etc. So it's actually regex is a fairly complicated thing to write on your own, because constructing these things is not even it's kind of like an art of its own. So don't worry about it so much. But the main thing is, here's some fun examples of what you can do with regex. And the one that's important for us, what we're going to have to do is we're going to have to connect to the Gavilan directory webpage and scrape for all the emails, right? So how are you going to get all the emails from Gavilan, directory? So let me see if I can get to that. Gavilan old dir right here. So that's the old directory of the Gavilan school, right? I hope they don't take it down anytime soon, because then I'm going to have to change the assignment or find some other place to scrape. Okay, so this is actually a lot bigger file than this little thing that I have, right? So this little thing is that, all right? And it's just a little fun thing that I did. Then this one here is the directory of, I don't know, maybe 300 people plus at Gavilan. And if you look at the source of that, it's a little bit bigger. All right? So you have to go through, your program is going to have to go through this, right? And what it will have to do is you will have to extract all the emails, right? So for example, you have an email here, right? That's the person. And then this is the actual link to that email. So this is how you tell the browser, look, show this on the web page. And then if the user clicks it, take the browser to this particular link, right? So this is just HTML, right? And this is the HTML hypertext markup language, which is how you tell the browser how to show things on the screen. Anyway, so for a single link, you can see that we're going to have to actually get, if you are extracting all the links, all the emails, email addresses or email links, so yeah, email addresses from this web page, then you would have duplicates, right? Because as you can see here, this one is once here and then another time here. So your program is not only going to have to connect to the web page and extract all the emails, but remove the duplicates. And I'll show you how to do that too. Okay, so anyway, going back to the little example thing that I had somewhere here. Okay, so how is your program going to get all these emails from that HTML file that I just showed you? Well, suppose the HTML file, so you can see that HTML file is all this stuff, right? So what I did was, for testing purposes, when I was creating this assignment, because I always create them, when I make up an assignment, I have to go through it myself, right? So when I was testing this myself, I just went through like a section of this web page, right? I just grabbed randomly a bunch of text and I pasted it into right here, right? So I just grabbed a bunch of text, I threw it in there just to test it on a smaller, section of the code and see what it's going to do. And I included an email address that repeats twice, or 2 email addresses, or whatever. Okay, so yeah, 2 different email addresses. So what's going to happen is, in this section, you're telling it RE find all, blah blah blah, right? R, and then R single quotes, and then single quotes at the end, and in between we have square brackets \W dot. Square brackets. So that tells it, and then a plus sign after that. So that tells it, look for any number of characters and dots, and I actually have written it right here, right? \W dot plus means look for any number of characters and dots before and after an et. So those are the allowable things that are part of an email, right? So those are the only things that you can have an email, valid email with. In between, there's going to be an et, and then after, there's going to be basically the same sequence of numbers, letters, or dots. Okay, so those are the valid emails. So any piece of text that matches that is going to be extracted from this text right here. So the text on the left tells it what to search for. The text on the right tells it where to search this. Right. So we're going to search through all the HTML on that web page using this. And what this is going to do is, this is going to create a list of all the emails. But now we're going to have some duplicate emails in there. Okay? So, and on top of all that good stuff, let's see what else I have. So that's one. And I have a couple of files in here, examples, page read py, regex example py. Okay, so let's go through these. I already went through this first one, I already went through this one. I have to tell you about write a web content to file and search a file. I think that's probably the next one to do. So let's do that one. There's going to be a video. No, there's no video for this one. Okay. So this one now, what are we going to do? The important thing here is, so you're going to have to read all the emails from the web page, put them into a list, remove the duplicates. At that point, what you have to do is you have to write that list of emails to a file. Then you're going to open the file, read all that stuff, make a list of lines again, right? Now with that list of emails, basically, you're going to use this here that you're seeing. So for line and list of lines, or in other words, for email and list of emails. Here you're going to try to match if a specific email we're looking for is in there, right? And if that's true, we're going to show that particular line where the email is. So again, what you're going to do is you're going to write all the emails to a file. You're going to read that file, put it in a list. So that means that every line is a separate email. You're going to go through all the emails, and if any of them matches the one that you're looking for, in this case I'm putting an X64. In the assignment case, you're going to put, I think, my email or something, probably try my name, and tell me if it's in there. Okay? So that's the other thing. And I know I have some more examples, so don't sweat it so much. I know I have it somewhere. So here's your Python file. Let me download this thing. I think I already showed you this. Yeah, so this is basically the whole program. All right. So what is in this program? In this program is, again, we're connecting to my web page, reading all the HTML. Then what we're going to do is we're going to go through there, search for all the exes, make a list of it. And then what I can do is I can write each of these to a file, right? So every exe I can write it one per line on the file, close the file, open the file again, read the file into a list, right? And then search the list for a specific text pattern that I want, right? So that's what you're going to have to do, pretty much. The one thing that's going to be different is you're not going to be searching for this pattern here. You're not looking for exes. You're going to be looking for emails, right? And there's another file, regex examples py, and that little thing. Now, on the bottom of it is this piece here, right? So this is what you're going to be searching. This is the pattern that you're going to be searching. All right, so all this, that is what we're going to be doing. Where is it? In here. Okay, so instead of this piece, right, what we're going to be doing is we're going to be getting this whole thing here, right, putting that in there. I don't know if I put the right number of parentheses or not. Whatever. You can, troubleshoot it yourself, right? So we're going to get all the emails. So this, we can call this list of emails at this point if you want. And here, this piece, this was just a little sample. So this piece of text has to be the HTML. Oh, this is not a string, so it must be converted for find all. Okay, so notice the note here though. HTML read here. So even though we're going to get all the HTML, we're going to read it. At this point here, it is not a string, so I have to turn it into a string. How am I going to turn it into a string? I'm just going to do this right here, str HTML. Bam. So now I'm going to search. I can call this list of emails. All right. I'm going to scrape. And by the way, this piece here is what? It's this right here. All right, throw that in there. Okay. So yeah, and then the next thing is, all right, so we got the list of emails. I wouldn't bother showing all the emails. Instead, I'll do the length of it, len of list of emails. All right, that's what I would do. Just to check, because it might flood your screen with too much information. It's easier for you to see how many emails you got versus 700 emails on the screen. Okay, so the number that you should get is, I don't know, maybe 700, something like that. Up, goes up and down. But that will be the double, the emails including duplicates. So you have to go in there and you have to remove the duplicates. How are you going to remove the duplicates, right? So this one here, I don't know what it's going to be exactly, but let's say it's going to be something like 782. Okay, 782. So that means that we got 782 emails. 782 emails. But what we want to do is we want to remove the duplicates, so that it will go down to like half of that number. Okay. So how am I going to remove duplicates? I'm going to do no duplicates, right? This is going to be an empty list. Okay, and then I'm going to make a loop that goes through this list of emails, right? The one that's 782 supposedly, or something like that, right? So for I in range from 0 to the length of this thing, right? Steps of 1, and then in here I'm going to tell it, all right, if any of these emails, so list of emails I, so if any of the emails are not in my no duplicates list, that's actually a syntax in Python. You can tell it to do that. So in other words, we're going to have a whole bunch of emails, right? And initially this thing is empty, right? So you get an email, and if the email does not exist in this list, add it to the list. Once you have added it, you can't add it twice. So that's it. So how am I going to add it to the list? I'm going to say no duplicates. Whoops. Duplicates dot append and that email. Yeah. So that's it. That's my no duplicate my no duplicates list. And from that point on, I think you have to write it to a file, right? So this is like an emails file, txt, right? You're gonna open that thing to write. You're gonna, write your no duplicates in there, right? Let's do the step of 1 just to exhaust it, right? So for every no duplicates so we're going to write all these, right, to a file, and we're going to put like email number 0, email number 1, email number 2, right? We're going to put them all in a file called emails file txt, and every at the end of each line we're going to put a new line, right? So everyone is a new line, right? Then we close the file to save it, and then we can go and reopen that file again to read it, and this time we're going to call this, I guess we can call it list of emails, right? So that'll be the least list of emails, the ones that no duplicates this time, right? And we're gonna read the whole file, split it by lines. When you do read lines, that is basically the same thing almost as saying read, and then you do dot split by \n. Right, so it's another way for you to read the file and split it by lines and put it into a list. Right, so that's my list of emails, and who cares about what it looks like? And then what you have to do is you have to go through this list of emails, and you're going to use regex to search for a specific pattern in each of these lines. Right, and I guess I can call this email. All right, print email. Okay, and then the pattern that I'm going to be looking for is, I don't know, let's have a look at it. Read a web page. All right, so I'm pretty much doing the whole thing for you. You just gotta watch the video, follow it, and do it if you get stuck. All right, so basically at this point we have written everything into a file called something, emails.txt. These are the emails, right? And the email we're going to be looking for is, of course, you're going to look for my name, because and to be someone. Hold on, where email might generate? Let's see. Do I say anywhere? Oh yeah, there you go. Reopen, blah blah blah, and read this. Look for Stoikov, right? So you're going to look for my name in the list of emails, and if you match that pattern, that line's going to show up and show you what, I guess, what number my email is, like if anyone cares. Okay, so that's the assignment for connecting to a web page, reading all the emails, scraping them, writing them to a file, closing the file, reopening the file, searching the file for a specific text pattern. Okay, so what do you use? In this assignment, you use the URL lib library and you use the regex library, where we used this URL open, we used read, we used find all, and we used search, which are part of the regex. Okay, so now you have, and this is just part of the standard, collection of, libraries that come with Python. You don't have to download anything extra. You don't have to set up anything fancy. Okay, so I know sometimes I get people post questions in my YouTube videos, like some people from random places in the world, like, why aren't you using, I can't remember what it was the last one. I'm like, okay, because it's not part of the standard package that comes with Python. Okay, plus we're doing basic things. All right, so that is how I would do your number 60. Okay, and I'm not going to post this text file. Watch the video and type it up. Okay, and you get 15 points extra credit. Now the other one is 59, and 59 is the one where I told you that you can get a program and you can translate it in a different language. All right, and then there's a zip file in there. Let's open it up. All right, so in here I have localization, zip file. My computer automatically unzips, and I have these files in it, right? So I have translatable py, translatable POT, and another translatable to py. Okay, so now let me tell you how you do what you do and why you do it. So first of all, this is your translatable py, and it's just a basic Python program. I have some print statements in there. I have a loop, right, with some input in it, right, because we got to have the input in there for it to work for real. And then I use the %d notation to enter some information, to insert numbers into the string. Just the possible different things you can do with text and numbers, right? Just to complicate things a little bit. And so basically this is my original program, right? And if I run this thing, it will run something like this, right? So, right? That's how it will work in its native language, which is English. All right. So now the next one to look at is this translatable to py. Okay. And by the way, in there, if you notice, I put the instructions on how you're supposed to do this, right? So first of all, step 1 is write all of the code, write all the original code, right? Step 2, just the usual, make sure it works, right? Step 3, now we're gonna have to look at the other file, translatable to py. Okay, translatable to py now tells you step 3, import getText. What is getText? getText allows you to do this kind of stuff. Basically translate something from one language to another language. And this is cross-language compatible. right? If you want to use getText in Java, you can do getText in Java. If you want to use getText in C, you can use getText in C. We're using getText in Python. Okay? So, step 3 is we're going to import getText. This next one here is step 7, so we're not going to do this yet, right? So we're going from step 3 to step 4. Okay, and in step 4 is what we're going to do is every piece of text that we want to translate. Right? So this is the piece of text that I want to translate, right? I am going to mark it with translation by putting an underscore and then parentheses around it. What the underscore is actually is this nameless function that is going to mark everything for translation. So we're basically sending everything that is marked with the underscore and parentheses around it is going to be marked for translation, and then we can translate it into any language we want, right? So we're marking these for translation with the underscore, right, parentheses. This one here, no underscore, so we're not translating the thing. Okay? In here, underscore, so I'm translating this one. Then in the next one, in the input, this is the piece of text that I want to translate. The rest of it stays the same. You do not want to put these also inside of the getText function. This is the getText function, by the way. So this nameless function is the getText function. So you don't want to be putting this parentheses all the way at the end, or I mean not at the end, but like here, because if you put this stuff inside of here somewhere, then it's not going to work. Okay? I tried. It didn't work. Okay? So there again, I'm marking something for translation. And again, why would you want to translate a number? A number is a number. You can't really translate a number, right? You only want to translate the text. So these are basically the steps. So now the step 4 was we go through our original code and mark everything that we want for translation, right? Just like I showed. Okay. Now step 5 is we have to find where this PyGetText thing is located. Okay? So in Windows, if you're using Python 34, it is going to be located in something like this, right? In like maybe C, Python 34, depending on what version you're using. Look under Tools, look under I18N, and in it, there's going to be a Python getText py. Okay? For the interest of time, yeah. So you just type this thing. So wherever your files are saved, right? In that folder, in that location where they're saved, you're going to type up this right here. Okay? So what you're telling it here is you're telling it use the PyGetText function to look into this file, the translatable to py, which is this thing that I had, not that one. The translatable to this one. So look at this file, look at all the stuff that's marked for translation, and generate, where are you? And generate this file for it. Okay? What that will do is this command will generate this particular file. So this is the translatable to, it creates a translatable to .pot. That's the pot file. Okay? This is the pot file, right? The thing that looks like a Excel spreadsheet or something. Right? Don't ask why it's a pot file. It just is. Okay? So so this is how you do this in Windows. How you do this on a Mac. Is that where it is normally? I'll be surprised if that worked. Hold on. So if I do I'm surprised that I remember this being more involved than what I'm doing right now. Yeah, that's what I thought. Yeah, it's not this. So this user PyGetText on Linux, Mac, show us. I don't know if that's going to find it. I know it's in some obscure place, and I'm surprised I don't have it here. 1 second. See if this finds it. Okay, so anyway, I can post. So what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to find where this PyGet text is buried on a Mac or a Linux. If you're on a Linux, you can search your Linux using this thing that I just did. And on a Mac, I'm not sure if it's working. I'm not sure if it's going to find it. But the bottom line is this. Once you find this PyGet text function on your computer, and I can show you where it is. Just don't want to dig through it right now. I think it's under Anonymous. Yeah, I can't remember exactly where it goes. It's buried really, really deep on the Mac. I normally had it posted here. I don't know where it went. So anyway, we're going to use the PyGet text to create this pot file, right? Using this command, which I will update in a little bit. Okay, we're going to create this translatable to pot file. Okay, and now this file is what we're going to open. We have Peyote here. I don't have it. Damn it. Peyote. Nope. Well, I'll show you what Peyote is. Peyote. All right, so Peyote is the software that will allow you to open this pot file that we created. All right, here I'm going to install it or open it. Yeah, thought I already had it. Okay, so what I'm going to do with this thing here now is I can go and I can do file this new from Peyote PO file, right? I'm going to do this, and then I'm going to go to my, where was this thing saved? That's in the downloads. Downloads, localization. See how it allows me to open this file? This is the only one that's not hidden. Open. And now, hopefully it doesn't crash. Yeah, by using the command that I was showing you. Not in here. Come on. And then it decided to crash on me. Oh, yeah, so the Peyote, let's see if I can open it. Nope. Oh, there we go. Finally. Okay, so this is all the text that I have. I told it to mark. All right? Which was this stuff here, right? So all this text that I told it to mark is now in Peyote. And in here, I can tell it, okay, click this. And where's the translation suggestion? The Windows version of this software is way better. Nope. Thanks for telling me. Oh yeah, I know. So I'm trying to figure out how to change that language. It normally view. Yeah, hold on. This. Pre-translate into what though? Oh, it quits. Anyway, so if you open it in Peyote, let me try it one more time. I think what happens is when I connect this computer to the screen and it changes the resolution, somehow these programs don't work the right way. But the Windows version of Peyote is, I think, without any issues. So, and also, if you don't have a projector connected to this, it'll probably work. And anyway, so you create the program. With Peyote, you go in there and you tell it how to translate each of these lines that are marked. Okay? pick the language that you want to translate to, and then what you have to do is, I have the instructions in here. What you have to do, so translate everything into the language that you want to translate it to, then save that project with this name, localize PO. This will automatically create another file called localize MO, right? Those are these two files that you see in here. They have to be placed inside of a file called LC messages, which is going to be placed inside of a folder called BG, right? So we have locale, we have BG in it, we have LC messages in it are these two localized MO files. That's what you're going to see in here, right? So those are the two files, localized PO, localized MO. They were generated by Peyote, which read this file, and in our code, if you look at this file right here, notice in here I say localize, right? What is localize? Localize is the name of this file. These two files, localize. So I'm telling it, look at that file called localize. Where are you going to look for it? You're going to look for it in a place called locale, which is this folder right here. Okay? Where in that locale folder, because you can have multiple translations, it doesn't have to be just Bulgarian, right? You can have multiple translations, and in one of those folders, the one that's called BG is what we're going to be using, right? That's this BG folder, right? So the names here, locale, BG, localize, depend on what you decide to use here. Okay? So what you will have to do is you will have to manually move these folders, these two files into a folder structure that you see in here. So you're going to have to create a folder called locale. In it, you're going to have to create a folder BG. In it, you're going to have to create a folder LC messages. In there, you're going to put these two files. All right? And now outside of that stuff is where you're going to save this translatable to py, right? This is this program basically. Okay? And now what's going to happen is, so again, let's go back through the steps. So we did step 5 was issue this command or on Mac or Windows, or this command on Windows to create the translatable POT file, right? Step 6 was use Peyote to open this thing, right? And create the translation, save it as this file name, which will automatically create these two files. Then go and create the folder structure that you see in here, right? You have the locale, you have the BG in it, there's the LC messages in it, is the localize, MO and PO, and outside of that is the translatable to POT and translatable to PY, right? Those two. Okay? And now, if you want to run this thing, run the program. Step 7 is, right? Step 7 is add this text, right? So this one tells it where to look for it. This one tells it get the translation going, like install the translation. And then if you want to run the program from the command line, something like this, right? You will see this text. So let me show you. So if I run this program, right? That's your English version. And if you run this one now, then you have a different language. Alright? Except it's all in English, and the translation is done in Peyote. How to create a POT file on Mac. Okay, hold on, let's do this. Where is get text Python Mac? Where is it bedded? No. And I did try to search for it. I don't know if it found anything.
So the POT file is
The POT file is created using this PyGetText, or what is this called? Let me see. The name is PyGetText. So let's do this. PyGetText Mac. Where can I find PyGetText? There we go. Okay, so you gotta go to so we're gonna go to user share doc shared. Nope, that's not it. Macintosh users. Oh no, this is OpenSUSE. That's not a Mac. Fooled me. Nope, I don't want to install it. It's already there. Where is PyGetText on a Mac? I must have been playing around with this thing. Where is GetText on Mac? No. Yeah, I gotta play around with it. I can't remember where it is exactly. So Macintosh HD.
So the question is, once you find it, you have to do something to create it?
Yeah, you do this. Once you find where that thing is located, right? Suppose it's located here, right? And user bin PyGetText, right? Then you just say you type this thing, okay? And then that. So basically, you have to go to the.
Type that on.
You have to be in the. You have to be where. So this is right now. I'm in the localization folder. Right. So I open a terminal. I open up this. I go to the localization folder, which is where this is. Right. I go where these files are. That's where this is now. And then in there, I have to type up this stuff.
In the using the
Yeah. In the terminal, you're going to type this, right? Except this part here is incorrect. So in here, I have to find where PyGetText is stored for this particular computer, and I can update it in a little bit. I just can't find it right now. And then
save as.
you just hit the enter. As soon as you hit the enter here, right? That creates this file.
Oh,
That creates the POT file. Then you do PoEdit. Alright, you open up PoEdit. Cancel. Alright, let's try it one more time. File, open, right? Then you open tell PoEdit to open this thing. Oh, I canceled in the beginning. So language of the translation. I want. Here you can tell it. There you go. So that's the language. And it even offers automatic translation. So this is the first piece of text. Click. This is another piece of text. Wait for it. Click. All right. Some of these translations are from Google. You know. So some of them are good. Some of them require some editing. Right. So I go in there and mark all this stuff. All right. I create all the translations that I want. If I wanted to edit, I can click on this thing and make my edit here. Okay. And then at this point I save. All right, save that thing in wherever I want to save it, and what I'm going to save it as, I'm going to save it as, where are you? Save as localized PO, right? And that creates these two files, and then I have to move the two files in the correct place. Okay, so at least PoEdit worked. Yeah, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go after this video and I'm going to update this file to show where it is on a Mac, so you have some idea if you're using this on a Mac. Yeah, it's just buried somewhere deep in there. I don't know where it is exactly.
I just need to know that to really show the Tifa, I must use terminal.
Yep, you have to use the terminal. You have to follow all these steps that you see in here. create the translatable file. Okay, so what's this assignment? This assignment is, again, extra credit. If you want to do it, pick, you can either, just change the language. Just get my thing and translate it into a different language. Okay, and you can turn that in for some extra credit. And that is all I wanted to tell you about that. Yeah, turn the whole thing into one big zip file. Oh, look at that. It's right here. That's where it is.
Oh, you got it?
Damn it. It's right here in the actual assignment. I knew I had it somewhere. It's in library frameworks. Here, I'll do it. Because I have version 3. Let me do this. I'm going to copy this whole thing. And I'm going to do that. Then in it, there's going to be this whole text. Let's see if that works. Nope. Didn't like that. Alright. Can I go to this one? Yep, it's there. Okay, so this is where the get text is. Yeah, what I can do is I can post a video on how to do this on a Mac, I guess, once I have it set up. So let's see, get text. Yeah, I'll put a separate video on how to do this on a Mac, so I don't waste your time right now. Yeah. Yep, sounds good. But yeah, you just have to tell it. I think what I have to do is I have to move. I'm not sure why the first one wasn't working. Wait, oh yeah, I typed it wrong.
What was the difference between LS and CV?
LS tells it list the. I bet you I'm gonna do it right now. PY. Ta-da! There you go. All right. So what did I do? So if I do, let's close this. Terminal. Okay. Well, actually, no. Yeah. Terminal. I'm going to go to where I'm at on this thing. So I'm going to go to my localization folder. All right. And then I'm going to tell it, okay, let's see if I can do a new tab. So first of all, I'm going to tell it, okay, let's go to this folder right here. So cd this. And I am there right now, right? If I do pwd, it shows you this is where you are. Okay. And what is in it? ls lists what files are in it. In it is this get-text py. Okay, because I already ran the command successfully before, it created this POT file. So I'm going to remove it, rm, everything that ends with a POT. And now that should be gone. Okay, so anyway, there's this folder on my computer, which is this here. And in this place, there is this get-text py program. It's a Python program. Okay, so if I go to my localization folder, which is where this is, right? This is the localization folder. If I go to the localization folder and I issue this command. So what is this command? This command tells it, go to that place where this is, right? Go to this folder and get this program. That's this piece. So go to that program, and then this tells it to create a POT file. This is going to be the name of the POT file from this Python file. Okay? And then as soon as I do that, right? As soon as I hit the enter, actually let me not hit the enter. If I just do ls, you'll see there's only, these are the only, there's a POT file, so rm. Yeah, so if I do rm, everything that is a POT, right? I only have these two files. Now I'm going to tell it this, right? So now it's going to create this POT file again, right? As soon as I do this now, and I do ls, right? You can see that there you go. There's the POT file created. At that point, I open PoEdit. I edit the thing, and then I have to save it in this folder structure, and it works.
So you copied that link over there and another command link.
This link,
You copied that link?
well, this link is also based on what version of Python you're using. So it might change. So it's Macintosh library. Now we can find it, right? So Macintosh library. There's frameworks, and then there's a Python framework. There's versions. I only have a version 3.4, right? In there, what do we have? 3.4 share, right? Then there's a doc in it. I told you it's buried. 3.4. Then there's examples. Then there's tools. And then there's the I-18, and that's where this thing is located.
How do you get
This here, or this?
Yeah, that link of
This, I can, well, you have to enable, for me the easiest thing to do is, well, one way to do that, okay, how will you get, well, once you find this here, once you find where PyGetText is, right? You found PyGetText, right? So, I guess what you can do is this. So you can open up the terminal. So let's close this. Let's open up a terminal. All right, and you can just go. Okay, so right now I'm at where I'm at. I'm PWD. I'm in user synonymous. So I'm gonna go cd dot dot. Now I'm in users cd dot dot. Now I'm in where I'm at, PWD, I'm in the root, right? That's the Macintosh HD, right? Then I can do ls. In there, I have a library folder, right? And then I can do, okay, cd library forward. And then as soon as I start typing it, I can hit tab to autocomplete. Then it's frameworks, tab. Then it's Python frameworks. Then it's versions. Then it's 3.4. Then it's share, then it's doc, then it's Python, whatever. Alright, then it's ex tab examples, running out of real estate examples. Alright, then it's tools, then it's I something 18, and then you're there. That's, I guess that's, I mean, you can navigate your way through this that way. All right, and then from here, now this is the folder that you need to copy, right? So then you're gonna get that whole thing, then / that pyget this file name. All right, then we add this to the end, and then we do the -d, and then it's the pot file name, right? And then it's the original Python py, right? And then it creates it. Okay? So, yeah. The only thing that might be different is if you have a different version of Python, right? It might not be in the same place. It might not be in version 3.4. So maybe this piece has to change. But you just have to look around. That's what I did, right? So, and if things don't work, go get Python 3.4, install it, and localize your program that way. Okay? Any questions? I know the two Windows people are just falling asleep. Sorry. Welcome to the Mac world. Well, this is one of the cases where things in Mac seem to be more buried than on Windows. It's not always that way, but sometimes. Anyway, so there you go. We demystified the localization and regex and all that good stuff, and I think that's all I have for today. Went longer than I expected. Any questions? That's all we have for the semester. Thanks for taking the class, and if you have any last minute worries or you need help with anything, I'll be here next week again in the office. What's up?